Ableton.
Okay, sick. I'm recording as well. Well, yeah, cool, man. Thanks for coming on. It's good to chat with you. I know that you had a bit of hype around you a while ago with that polyrhythm tune, so we should probably talk about that a bit. But then also, like, I'm just interested in like, yeah, where you're at musically, because you obviously have like a pretty interesting style, especially for the dubstep community. I feel like people in the dubstep community are like all to some degree just writing the same song over and over again.
Yeah.
And I feel like yeah, there's obviously some exceptions, like you are one of them, where you're just sort of making this weird jazzy, like crazy style of dubstep that's like not in usual time signatures and whatnot. um but yeah, I'm like, what's your musical background?
So I don't have any like traditional like educational backgrounds. So I guess like most people in elementary school, I did like a band for a little bit. I did drums, but like all I did was the snare drum, and then the teacher didn't like me because I was too energetic. So then the teacher pissed me off, so I quit. And then I joined choir for a little bit. I tried saxophone in elementary school too, but I never really stuck with any instrument. But I was very, I think, naturally good at rhythm things. So I was always tapping on stuff. I got in trouble for tapping my fingers or pencils in class all the time. I just tapped on stuff nonstop. But no traditional background. But I think rhythm and that stuff was just like worked in my brain because my brain's kind of is kind of weird because like it likes very janky weird things because like there's always some weird stuff going on in there. I'm always hearing stuff like that's basically always going on, and then musically I just kind of express that, kind of just let it out.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I see that there's like cymbals in the back of your room. Are you a drummer?
So I got like a drum kit when I was a lot younger, a really like small one. Um, and I broke it very quickly. I hit it too hard because it was like made more for like small children, and I just beat the crap out of it. So now I just have leftover cymbals, and they're just back there, and I use them sometimes. I have an electric drum kit I bought recently.
Oh,
We're
nice.
there now though, so I'm starting to learn the drums actually, but
Yeah, nice.
that's very recent.
Yeah, so when I was younger, my brother had a drum kit because he was a drummer. So I would play that sometimes. Although he'd always get pissed off when I would play his drums. I feel like drummers are like weird in the sense that if you touch their drum kit, they're like, "Did you touch my fucking drum kit?" um, so I didn't play them as much as I would have liked, but I definitely enjoyed playing them a lot. And then I went to, so there's this thing in Australia called TAFE, which is sort of like community college, I guess, is what you'd call it.
Mhm.
And after school, I went there for a little while and studied drums like as my main instrument there. So I also have like a fairly drummy background actually, and I feel like that helps a lot. Like I'm the same as you. I don't have like a um like a crazy musical background or anything. Like I don't know, I didn't study like jazz, or I didn't study like music theory very hard or anything, but I just have like, yeah, a pretty rhythm oriented background also. And I feel like that helps a lot because when you think about music as like rhythm, then it's all about just sort of like putting things on the rhythms, right? And it's like you can
Yeah.
put sort of any note on them and it somehow sounds musical. And I feel like rhythmic things that sound like rhythmically coherent sound just musical to us regardless of what the notes are usually anyway. Because I don't know, humans, especially if it's in 4/4, right? Like
Hmm.
humans just are sort of locked into that. So I think we're more locked into rhythm than we are into pitch.
I think I agree. I find that I think dubstep or EDM or bass music in general is a lot more focused on rhythmic things, focus on flow, focus on how that kind of stuff feels. I mean, there's a whole culture that's just, I guess, like headbanging. That's just all entirely just rhythm. Or I guess most dubstep now is most basically entirely focused on rhythm. So finding ways to spice that up or kind of make it something you haven't heard before, or like hearing making unique rhythms, I think is something that people have started exploring more, and there's like a lot more things to go and mess around with there. That's kind of why I'm doing that, because it's fun and sounds cool.
Yeah, I feel like people are slowly allowing themselves to do this thing because they feel like it's slightly safer to do now or something like that versus
Hmm.
back in the day everyone was like you can't do that otherwise like who's going to listen to your song. And you can't make a song if no one listens to it. It's like one of those old Japanese cones. It's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound or whatever? It's like if nobody listens to the EDM banger, did you even bang?
Yeah, I think that mindset is yeah, that's stopping most people. And talking like you mentioned earlier, the whole polyrhythm thing. That song was made purposely to entirely disregard that. Like when I made that, the whole idea behind it was to not care what people were gonna think of it, because I just assumed everyone was gonna hate it. My mindset going into it, releasing it and making it was just no one's gonna like this, but I like it. So I don't care. I'm just gonna put it out anyway. And for some reason, it luckily people liked it.
Yeah, do you
And
remember like what so for people who are listening who don't know what it is, basically polyrhythm is this like it's like all rhythm sound design, like metallic basses and like the classic rhythm sort of drum sounds and stuff like that. But it's all in like, I don't know, 7/8 and like nine
yeah,
eight and like all these weird time signatures. And it's like constantly switching like tempo and shit like that. And it's just like a
hmm,
crazy it's like a math metal tune meets like a rhythm tune or whatever. And it's
yeah,
I don't know, like
exactly.
I can't see it like working super well in a set live or something unless it's I mean actually you know what, to be honest it could work in a set live because um sometimes like if you play a whole set and the whole set sounds like very similar, sometimes playing something really different to break it up can be a good move.
Hmm.
But um yeah, and then like because you made this crazy thing, it somehow like got a lot of traction because it was like one of the only maybe different things at the time that was out.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you remember what it was at the start that like made it start getting like popular? Like who was it that sort of picked it up and or who were the
Okay,
group of people?
I can walk you through like the whole journey of how it kind of gained traction. But before, I want to go back and touch on the set thing. I think for anyone else, playing it in a set will be like is hard, or it doesn't really work. But I found in my sets, because the whole like set is based around, it's like very different from everyone else's. It makes a lot more sense there because the whole set is like kind of jazzy with dubstep, and like it's kind of a cross between the two. So the whole yeah. Anyways, how polyrhythm kind of started. So who kind of picked it up at first and kind of gave it some traction was Mode Step,
Hmm.
through the like Mode Step back to back Virtual Riot Disciple like live stream thing. So right before that, Mode Step was like looking around at the underground kind of like SoundCloud people and like messaging people, and he followed me and found my stuff. So I just DM'd him one day, and I was like, "Hey, you want some unreleased stuff?" And he's like, "Sure." So I sent him some stuff. I didn't send him polyrhythm at first. It's like, "Yeah, these are sick." And I was like, at the time, I wasn't showing anyone polyrhythm because I wanted to keep it like super secret, but I was like, maybe I'll send it to him. So I asked him if he wanted to hear something really weird. So I showed him the song. It's like, this is crazy. This is mental. Because he comes from a drummy background too, and like a jazzy background. So he liked it. He's like, can I play this at the set, like tomorrow with Virtual Riot? So he went there. He asked people. He showed Virtual Riot before the show and some other people, hey, I'm going to play the song. Should I play it? And they all said, no, don't play it. For the love of God, please don't play that song. And then he went and he played it anyway. And then VR just made a funny reaction, and that kind of like got posted on Twitter, and people were like, "What is this song?" And then from there, people started talking, and then hype started building up, and then yeah, that was right before the release too. It was really good timing because the hype from the video into the release, and then stuff just kept happening and happening, and just kind of snowballed from there.
Nice. Yeah, and then it seems like I've the way I found out about it was I heard about it from first Subtronics on this podcast, and then I heard about it from Kill the Noise also on this podcast, and I was like, damn, if like two big dubstep guys are like going out of their way to tell me about this track that they've heard recently, then I should probably check it out. But yeah, it's cool stuff. Um, the dubstep scene is like so strange. It's so like hyper particular, and it's like, you know, track stuff. You know, like you were saying, you're really particular in like who you show your tracks to, and it's like you keep dubs. And something Subtronics told me about was like someone can pay, like he'll go and pay kids or whatever to make like a VIP of a tune for him that only he can play or something. It's called like a, I don't know what,
Special.
a special, yeah, something like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
Is that
I think I looked back on the Subtronics podcast, and I think that's when he mentioned Polyrhythm was like, I asked Phonon to make me a special, but instead of paying me in money, I asked him to tweet about it because that was more valuable.
true? Yeah, fair enough. I mean, he's definitely got a large platform.
I mean, I think the dub culture though, there's a whole like culture of people like just keeping dubs and people being able to buy like dub plates that don't get released that only they can play because they bought it. Um, and that's like right now is very strongly tied to like say side aliases. So popular kind of dubstep people right now, more undergroundy ones, are making side aliases and making like random rhythm songs that people want to buy because they're simpler in rhythm and they can double and stuff. So that's a big thing right now. And I did do this. I did make a side alias and make a couple tunes, so I'm guilty of it too. But it is weird.
True. And like how many times have you been asked to make a special, or was it just that one time by
It
Subtronics?
was. Ooh, I've been asked to make a special a couple times. The Subtronics time, and then random people will DM me asking if they can make a special, if I can make a special of some song. I usually just say no, or,
Yeah, it seems
or
like a lot of work, right? To like basically write a fucking whole tune just for one person to be able to play in a set.
yeah, it's a lot of work. That's why I don't do it. I'm a slow worker, so that would take me a while. But
Yeah, I mean, like what the price you would have to charge for something like that to be worth your time would have to be like thousands of dollars, right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, especially now.
Well, the thing is like if you make someone a special that they then just get to play in their sets, which means you don't get to like have it on Spotify or on, you know, iTunes or whatever, collecting streaming royalties. And it's also not like bolstering up your career as another piece of art that you've made that people can enjoy, and so on and so forth. It's like literally the value of that piece of music for your career stops at them having it. So it's like you make this piece of music that takes weeks, and then they pay you what, like let's say $500. It's like that $500 is all you're ever going to get from that special, most likely. I mean,
Hmm.
there's going to be a chance that, you know, they might show it to somebody else or like shout you out during sets and being like, hey, this is an unreleased blah 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 song or whatever. But for the most part, it seems like pretty much a detrimental waste of time to make them in terms of like career move stuff. But I guess if it's like fun and easy and you need to make a quick few grand or whatever to pay rent or something, then it probably makes sense.
Yeah, I think the people who do it, they do it for like super simple rhythm tunes where all they have to do is kind of like tweak a few knobs in a synth or maybe change the flow like a tiny bit somewhere, and then they're happy, and then people will pay for it. And then I think it's mainly just like a source of income thing
Mm.
because the people generally doing them are mainly just like underground rhythmy people who aren't like getting made big bookings like pre-COVID, obviously. So like it's them selling dubs and doing specials is like how they make their money on music. So it's kind of a
Mm.
different mindset or a different way of going about money in music.
Yeah. Where are you based, by the way?
I'm in Kansas and no
Oh,
one
cool.
else lives here. It's just me.
Yeah, are you in Kansas City?
I'm in Manhattan, Kansas, which is like 2 hours from there.
Okay. Yeah, I played in Kansas City once at the Uptown Theater.
I've been to, so I used to travel like every weekend to Kansas City because my sibling was in like a jazz combo that was in Kansas City because Kansas City has a big jazz scene. At one point, also, I was really competitive in soccer, so I went to like the best team, which was in Kansas City. So I had to drive like 2 hours there and back for just for practice.
Damn, like every week, or
Like, yeah, like every week.
damn, I would imagine like if you're in like a super good soccer team, it's probably multiple times a week too, right?
Yeah, I just had to pick certain ones to go to. Bro, my parents were legends for driving me and my sibling just back and forth and stuff. I mean, yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, it's a mission. Yeah, the Midwest is crazy, man. It's like, is it super cold out there right now?
I have no clue. I think it is. I just don't go outside.
Yeah, it looks like you've taped your window up there so you can't see it.
Yeah. It's
Is
like
that just paper and tape?
it's like poster board. I do that because I have a green screen that I pull up, and if I don't block that off, light shines through it and like makes it not
That's a good
usable.
point.
But I
Nice.
just have it down
So
right
the green screen is for streaming, I guess.
now. I'm starting that
Nice.
back up soon. I got like a whole new setup type thing. Been revamping that. That's why I haven't been streaming.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I should probably stream more. I mean, I've I've been streaming for a long time since like 2014 or so. But it's always been super intermittent. Like I'll just stream sort of when I feel like it, which works out to be like a couple of times a month. And during COVID, it's been maybe the same, like a couple of times a month. But yeah, I should really do it more. I actually find it to be pretty fun. But I always just have this like slight little apprehension in my brain that's like, no, you shouldn't stream. You should like sit here and play games of chess all night and then watch Netflix.
Very true. Um, for me, I'm gonna once I start back, I have like a pretty often schedule. A pretty I do like 3 times a week. I think is what my schedule is. But I use those times, excuse me, to work on like collab things or just music because me being on stream like forces me to like work on the music and not get distracted. And plus like having to like commentate and read chat gives me enough like stimulus to stay focused on working on the music.
Yeah,
So
I've noticed the same thing with me. It's like when somebody's watching me, and it doesn't matter if it's the stream or if it's just somebody sitting in the room watching me. I feel like I'm trying to like perform for someone, right? Or like
mm,
entertain someone. So it's like, well, I can't stop writing because then the person who's watching won't be entertained.
yeah, yeah.
So I kind of like go into this mode where I'm like, all right, I'm I'm in entertainer bill mode and like have to keep working. And it's actually good. And for a while, I was literally just streaming so I could get work done because I was like, I know this is a surefire way that like keeps me engaged in working on music. But then I kind of worry sometimes it's like a bit of a crutch and maybe I shouldn't stream every single session I do. And also like sometimes I can't stream the work that I'm doing because it's work for like, film or games or
Mhm.
some project that I'm not supposed to talk about or whatever. But yeah, no, I feel the same way for sure. But it's kind of good that we have that resource now, right? Like I guess the internet is like the whole thing is like a love hate relationship because in one sense it's like the whole reason why I don't have the like attention span to write
Yeah.
music like that these days is because of the internet. But also because of the internet, I have this streaming thing which kind of fixes that problem for me. Whereas like back in the day, I wouldn't have been able to stream, so I wouldn't have had that thing to fix the not being able to write music problem for me. But I also probably would have had an attention span because the internet wouldn't have existed.
Yeah. I think if I could stream everything, that would like help my production. I mean, what's the word? Productivity.
Hmm.
But the problem is I don't like sharing almost most anything I'm working on that's like a serious. Like with polyrhythm, I kept that super duper duper secret. Same with Emmy. Emmy was even more so. I'm not sure if you've heard that one, but that was like a my like big project thingy song. It's like 7 minutes. Does a bunch of weird stuff. Very jazzy. Um, but I only showed like maybe like five or less people that song before it came out. And I intend to keep it like that when it comes to like more future solo stuff. But for some things, like I do want to, I do share stuff. Like I make songs on stream called stream songs that I release. Um, so for those ones, obviously, I make the whole song like on stream, so I'm obviously sharing it. But basically, either I show no one or I show everyone, and there's no in between.
Yeah, I'm kind of more on the show everyone spectrum. Like I definitely will just yeah, show whatever. Like I sometimes on stream I'll just get bored of working on music and just go through my whips folder and just play the whole whips folder and like I just don't give a shit. I actually think it just helps, right? Like I've shown this one song on at the end of every podcast and just constantly on streams and like played it in sets a ton of times. It's called Pleasure Seeker. It's like this weird sort of dubstep tune. And I've shown it just tons of times, and still people ask me constantly, or like when it's being released, and I'm like, dude, it's like literally released. Like it gets just go fucking rip it at the end of every podcast, and like, um, but I mean, for some reason, like people still have this idea that like when it gets officially released, it's like a different thing or something.
Yeah, and
I
it's
guess
so
it is
weird.
because it's like once it gets officially released, you can buy it. You can have it on like your iPod and shit pretty easily, or your iPod. Who the fuck uses an iPod? You can have it on your phone and like, um, and you know, then it also like has the artist's final stamp of approval attached to it, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm fine with showing stuff that is like basically the reason I don't like showing stuff, or the reason I chose to not show stuff, is a lot of the time it's basically just so to like just to protect my ideas, kind of. So like I don't, because all the time I'm doing weird stuff or like doing new things or trying to do new things, and I don't want to like show it early before it comes out or before like it's public or whatever. So I don't want people to like hear that and then go and take my idea and and do it before me, and then they get the credit.
Mm.
I just want to protect my ideas. But if the music doesn't have any like new ideas or like new crazy stuff, then I don't care.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, here I was talking to Hero Boss the other day, and he said he doesn't like to show stuff because you only sort of get one chance to make an impression on someone with a song, and if you show them like a whip, then they already have
Oh yeah.
some idea of how the song should finish, and they already have some idea of how the song was, which means if you change it in a bunch of different ways, they might be like, oh no, I liked it better before, and like
hmm
all that kind of stuff. So what do you do like outside of music production?
So right now, basically, not much. I sit here and I try to produce music, and most of the time I fail. Not in terms of not having ideas, but just being distracted by the internet and my friends and also video games. But before music, I did karate,
Oh,
and
cool.
I did like competitive performance karate. Basically, I did the bow staff. It's a big stick, and you spin it around, and you do cool stuff with the big stick, and it's cool. Um, and the weird thing is, because that's like a much more niche thing, smaller community, and I was like really good at it. I'm technically better at spinning the bow staff around than I am at music. Like I have world championships in spinning a stick around for some reason.
Nice. That sounds pretty. So, are you like a black belt or whatever? What's the
Yeah, yeah.
measurement for
I'm
the
like
stick
a second degree black belt and just
in
in
stick?
taekwondo.
In
Well,
taekwondo or
I learned
karate?
like I learned like the same thing kind of. I went to a taekwondo school, but karate is kind of like a more broader term, I guess.
Oh,
I'm not
gotcha.
entirely sure, but I went to like a local school. I got like my second degree black belt. It took a while, and then early on there they like introduced me to the bow staff, and then I like took it, and I just went online and searched people up doing it, and then taught myself through watching people do stuff, and I got like better than the instructors, and then I went to tournaments, and then I won all those tournaments, and then I basically just kept like getting better. And then I went and found like the most competitive circuit that there was for it, and then I went on there and tried to get on like a really competitive, prestigious, cloudy team with like a so I was like fancy or something. Then I did that, and then the people on the team were mean to me. I was like, I don't like this anymore, and then I stopped.
You're like, fuck this skill that I work so hard for. This guy called me a noob.
Exactly.
I'm out.
Also,
Yeah,
just
fair enough.
super expensive because all the tournaments were just all around North America,
Mm.
and they didn't pay for anything. So I just had to we had to like pay for the flights and the hotels, and just like travel everywhere, and it was so much money. And the reward was like if I kept going, it was like, do I keep spending this much money to spin a stick around in hopes of maybe getting some one more random title thing that doesn't matter? Like the value just like got less and less over time.
Yeah, that
And
makes
then
sense.
yeah, it was weird. It was fun though.
What was like the main value you think you got out of learning karate to that level?
I ooh, besides just having a really like a cool looking random skill, um it's made me a lot more confident in terms of like maybe having to defend myself or something, because I do know like traditional practical karate as well. Um, but I think it was just a good exercise of like creativeness, because my specialty in there, it's kind of the same with music, was like being really creative and inventing new tricks or like making new things that people hadn't done before, like making really weird releases or really weird tricks that were just stupidly technically difficult, but were cool. Like no one else could do the stuff I was doing. But because of that, when I went and competed and like I did my form and stuff, I was just doing the craziest crap, and I just dropped my weapon sometimes, most of the time. And when you drop your weapon, like when you're competing, you get disqualified immediately.
Damn.
So basically everyone's like, this dude's crazy, but he never like hits his form, so he's always disqualified. So
Is there any videos of you online doing this?
yes, there
Wait,
are, but I'm
what
not.
should I search for?
Um, I want to. I mean, I had an old Instagram. I'm not sure if I want to say it.
Okay,
I'll
no
send you
worries.
some videos later because
All
I have
right.
some. I'll leave other people to find it.
Yeah, fair enough. Damn, that's cool that you did that, and then you also did like pretty high level soccer as well.
Yeah. So before karate, it was soccer, and it's kind of like the same story. So I did soccer from like a pretty young age, and then I got good. I wanted to like I was basically same story. Locally, I was very good. I was just winning everything, so I went and searched for the more competitive stuff. So I went around and like tried to find the best teams around like Kansas or whatever. Went to those, like tried out, got made the teams, and then basically I reached that Kansas City team, which was like super good and prestigious or whatever. And then I was like, this is so much effort to drive 2 hours to practice and back, and this this sucks. So I kind of left, but then I kept playing more locally, and then like there was like this team called like Midwest Select that was like the best of the people in the Midwest, and I joined that. And then basically all those people were mean to me again, and I was like, I don't like it anymore. So same thing with karate. I think when I was like a bit younger, I'm still young. I was very hard, I guess, to deal with. I was very it's like super energetic, and also probably unknowingly a smartass because I don't know. People just didn't like me a lot of the time because of for some reason, and then people were just mad at me for being good or something, and then I was like, this sucks. This like ruined it. So now I just dipped and went into something else.
And now you're doing a dubstep, which is the same thing. You have to travel pretty far to
Hmm.
like play it to people, and every now and then there's a flight attendant who's an asshole or something.
Yeah, but that flight attendant, I don't have to like be with them all the time. Without, I don't have to compete with them. So I can just be like, ha.
True. Speaking of flights, that just reminded me of COVID. How's COVID doing in Kansas? Like, what's the situation like there?
Um, I think we're doing not that good. I think. I think
Hmm.
we
Like you
aren't
said,
like the worst. We're
you just
probably
don't
like
go outside or anything, but like
no.
for the times that like do your family, like some of your family members probably go outside, right?
Yeah. So my mom teaches at like a middle school.
Oh wow, so schools are open.
Yeah.
Oh
Wait.
shit.
Yeah. Schools are
Yeah.
open. It's not good.
Fuck.
Um, but luckily we're all very safe. And my mom's been like working at the school for a while, like since whenever school started.
Wait, so
And
schools, did they ever shut down there?
yeah, they were online for a bit and then they are no longer online for some reason. I don't know. It's really weird and dumb and everything sucks in like the district and whoever the people who run the stuff suck. But that's like the case for everywhere. So, but yeah, I don't leave here. Even before COVID, I did not leave my room because I sacrificed like wait, you mind if I talk about school stuff or like go on a random story?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So so like when I was I think a junior or I was about to be a junior in like high school, I basically stopped going to the regular high school. I went to K State. I started taking all my classes at the Kansas State University. Still as a high school student, but like just taking all my classes there because the high school wasn't working because it was just a bunch of busy work and I couldn't get it done because ADHD and it wasn't working. So I just went and took harder stuff, but less of it, basically. So then I just didn't talk to anyone there because I was young and also like a late bloomer. So I was very small and looked like a little baby child. So I just didn't talk to anyone because I didn't think anyone wanted to talk to me. So like the last 2 years of my high school, I just had no in real life friends, but I got really good at music, and that's still how it is right now. I don't have any like friends like from here, so I just sit in this room and I talk to people on Discord and I make music. So when COVID happened, it basically was the world around me is burning, but I'm doing the exact same thing like before COVID and now.
Yeah, I feel like that has been true for a lot of people. It was pretty true for me because I mean, like the nature of writing music or whatever is like pretty solitary anyway. Um, but there's definitely like it made me realize how much I miss the little sort of bits in between writing music where I actually see people. Like
Mhm.
for instance, I'll sit here writing music all day and then like go out and meet someone for lunch or dinner or something, and then come back and like write more music and um or it's like not uncommon to yeah, I was actually mostly just going out for meals to be honest. And then also I guess like flying and all that kind of stuff. Like on the weekends having to go out for shows, like having my weeks sort of punctuated with like a show at the end of
Mhm.
every week was like kind of helpful. Stuff like that. So that my life feels like it's changed a lot, but realistically it hasn't that much. Um
So I was going from like shows to no shows. Is
like
it better or worse?
Um, luckily for me, I'm like in a financial position where it's not affected me too much financially, at least because I like have set up my career in such a way where I have a lot of things that like I get my income from that aren't shows.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of good. And then the other differences other than financial, so the like experiential differences have mostly just been like I was saying that sort of punctuation of life of having these like shows at the end of every week. It's been kind of weird to not have those deadlines. And I've talked about this on the podcast a few times. Like I work really well to a deadline, and to have a show at the end of every week, it's like having a deadline at the end of every week, right? Where you're like, oh, for
Yeah.
instance, like we were working on our collab, and you were like, oh, I can't work on it because I have to like finish a bunch of shit for this like show thing, like this
Mm-hmm.
online show or whatever. Or yeah, so I would kind of have that experience, but every week, where I'd be like, all right, I
That's
have to like,
helpful. That's
yeah,
good.
finish a new thing every week, and it would keep me really productive, and then also like flying and like being able to play it to people every week. It was like, not only did I get to have this deadline for writing, but then I would also get to play it and see people's reaction, and then come home and tweak it and like just do that week in and week out until I like got things really dialed. So it was pretty cool, like in that way. So I would say in like a lot of ways I've actually been less productive by not having shows. But at the same time, I've been writing a lot more music that I actually want to write, which is like more IDM-y, glitchy, down tempo-y stuff. And then I've been like
Mm-hmm.
writing the odd banger as well here and there. But I feel like bangers have lost a little bit of their application right now because shows don't exist, or at least they don't in a lot of places. Like here, they definitely do not. Um, so yeah, it's yeah, that's kind of how it's been, I guess. Like not doing shows, but I am honestly not in like any huge rush to go back to touring how I was, because I was doing like 50 to 100 shows a year. It's a lot on your body. I don't think you should be like flying that often and stuff. It doesn't feel like it's that good for you. So I feel like this built-in break honestly has been like, it's been like pretty positive for me, and I think it's been positive for a lot of artists, because I think there was a lot of artists who just would never have taken a year off touring if they weren't forced to,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's given us all a lot of time to sort of like sit back and be like, fuck, like what was I even doing? I was sort of just like manufacturing bangers to play at shows every weekend, um, without much like thought for making interesting music or anything like that. And this is also a thing I was talking about the other day on this podcast with Hero Bust, is it's like I hope that when all artists go back to shows, that we don't just like revert straight back to where we were at with music. Like I hope it doesn't just go straight back to the who can make the most testosterone filled rhythm. And
Mm-hmm.
it's because I feel like we're seeing a lot of pretty interesting vibey music come out right now, because people know that it's like they don't have to play it at a show, so they don't have to like make the dance floor work right now, which takes out this huge sort of requirement out of the writing process and allows people, I think, to do a little bit more of what they actually just want to do.
Yeah, I think I hope the same thing, because I also hope when shows come back that the lineups on things, or like the artists being booked for the shows, are gonna be the ones who kind of made that interesting music, or like made and did like the different things, like the people.
Well, that'll never be the case. And the reason why is because shows are always going to just be an economy, right? So it's like the people who get booked on the shows are always just going to be the people who sell the tickets. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you can make the coolest music ever. And if you don't sell tickets, then
It doesn't matter
it
for
doesn't
like
matter.
shows.
Yeah. Like I mean, you might get booked, but like you'd be like an opening act and you'd only get paid like, $100 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the reason, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, it's like you have these people who can sell out stadiums, but I don't necessarily think that they're making extremely interesting music or anything like that. And they're getting booked for the biggest shit ever, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
headlining Coachella and playing, Madison Square Garden, all that kind of stuff, just because a lot of people will pay for it. So like this, because they have this economy thing going for them, they make enough sales to do the thing. Then yeah. So I think in that sense, like making interesting music is unfortunately never enough to fix the show industry. It also has to come with this like ticket sale thing, which is sort of annoying, but yeah,
Yeah.
exists.
I wonder if you could translate the more interesting music to like a large audience, like a really big, like comparable to the super like mainstreamy ones that are like currently selling the tickets and stuff, I think that it might be feasible if like those people built up a large enough audience to like sell enough tickets. Because if you build up like the same like size audience and like the people want to go and see you live, then you can sell the tickets and then you can do this stuff. I think. Unless
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
hope.
yeah, and that sometimes happens. Like every now and then there'll be someone who's doing something sort of weird and interesting, and they'll get pretty big. Like I don't know. I think like Kendrick Lamar's stuff is sort of like a little esoteric and strange, and like Kanye is like a
Yeah.
little esoteric and strange, and to some degree, like Anderson Paak is writing some pretty interesting stuff, and like these guys are obviously selling out massive stadiums worth of tickets, and therefore you get those kind of shows. But yeah, I don't know if there's any way to solve that economic problem in music without like some kind of, I don't know, socialist universal income type situation, which could be cool. Just give everybody tons of money and put on whatever shows you want. People go to whatever they want, and everyone gets paid the exact same. I don't think that'll ever work though. We're too deep into this capitalist shit.
Yeah. I think like everyone's like obviously we all want, or at least the people who have not nuts for brains want like reform and like a better system, because obviously capitalism is dog water and not PogChamp, and is just causes a lot of harm. But to like get out of that, the amount of work, or like the amount of like it seems very very hard to even just make small changes to like what's currently what the status quo is, which is sad, because for some reason there's a large part of like our the especially like America's population that hears like they're like fed just like just constant kind of like propaganda type things. So when they hear people can just like say, "Oh, that policy is like it's just communism or something," and then people will be like, "Oh, that's bad," but in reality, it's literally people are just like proposing universal healthcare or something, or like something that shouldn't be like controversial, but yet people have been conditioned or like been told that it's some awful thing, or that like I don't get it. I personally cannot comprehend it, but like I don't know how we're gonna get out of that hole, but I hope we can. Shouldn't we should be talking about music and not politics, but
Yeah, or we can do you fuck around with crypto?
oh, I don't like have any money in it, but I think it's pretty swag. It's interesting.
Why do you think it's swag?
I think I don't know, just seeing all the stuff happening right now with like crypto, especially with it's like the recent like GameStop situation and like Dogecoin, um, where people are punishing like the big banks for trying to like abusing their power, and people calling them out, and
Well,
the people,
GameStop is different to Dogecoin. GameStop
yeah,
is stocks in an actual company. Dogecoin is a meme of a fucking coin.
yeah, like for like the GameStop stuff, um, I thought was pretty cool because it was people like going against Wall Street trying to short them, and just because they just thought the GameStop was gonna go down, and then the people were like, "F you, we're gonna invest in it and then ruin you and put you billions of dollars like in the hole." Which was it was kind of crazy to see that the people had that power to just screw over like the hedge funds. It was, yeah, I'm not well versed in economics, but
Man, I should sell my Dogecoin. So I bought Dogecoin in like 2018 or something like that. I bought 25,000 Dogecoin, and I still have them. So I wonder what they're worth now. Looks like they're worth about half a cent each right now, or something like that. I think I bought them when they were worth like a tenth of a cent each, or even less. but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I am not that invested in crypto. I bought a bunch of weird shit back in the day. For instance, like the Dogecoin, I just spent like $50 on a bunch of different random like cheap ass coins because I was like, even if these go up a little bit, like they're going to be worth a bunch, right? And that's exactly what's happened with Dogecoin. I think like I spent $50 on it, and now it's like probably what I'm holding is worth like, I don't know, a couple of $1,000.
That's that's very good. Um, I think crypto is nice. I don't know much about it.
So I think the
Just
technology is cool. I think the idea, like the underlying idea is cool, which is you should take away like the middleman and take away the power from the banks, and not have these intermediaries between your transactions between each other. Everything should be like this sort of peer-to-peer thing with a blockchain in there. So yeah, everything is on everything is logged in a file somewhere, and everyone can publicly like see said file. So it's just like a safer way of trading currency and all this kind of stuff, and it's like decentralized and blah blah blah. That's all cool and it's a good idea and whatnot, but the problem is like that's not why people are buying it. People are buying it so they can sell it to somebody who's dumber than they are for a higher price and make money off it, right? Like people are trading it like it's stock. That's and
uh,
people aren't buying it for this decentralized reason. People aren't like, because if that was the case, the price of Bitcoin would be stable. Everyone would just buy it and hold it because they'd be like, well, we need to just like hold it, right? Like it's
mhm.
we're keeping it as currency for when society collapses. But that's not what people do. They buy tiny amounts of it, wait for it to go up in price a tiny bit, sell it, wait for it to go down in price a tiny bit, buy it again, wait for it to go up, sell it again, et cetera, et cetera. That's what you call a day trader. And that's like pretty much, I think, what makes up 90% of the Bitcoin market is just people who are trading it like it's stock,
Yeah.
which is just human greed, really. I mean, it's exactly the thing that everyone is laughing about with the with the Wall Street bets thing and GameStop stock. And yeah, I mean, I think it's funny that these people who are clearly using Bitcoin for this reason to just try and like cash out on greater fools than them, and then try and like uh, code it in this fantasy that they're doing it for decentralization is just fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's a clash of ideals. But like Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin is in terms of like its price, like Dogecoin right now is a big thing, but its price is like a fraction of a cent.
Hmm.
But like Bitcoin, at one point, one Bitcoin was like 40 grand or something like 30 grand or something stupid.
Yeah, what is it now? Bitcoin price. It is $37,000.
Holy,
That's insane. I think I have like a tiny bit. I should sell it.
that's so. I think it's like Bitcoin compared to everything else is like such a large and stark contrast in like pricing or like how I'm not sure how it got there, but it's very wild.
Yeah, I have 0.36 Bitcoin.
Let's go.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah, it's almost like 10 grand in Bitcoin. I should sell that shit.
You should sell that. Point. Wait, actually, I think if Bitcoin still 37 grand, I heard from someone that is like going down right now, but it's like estimated to like go up to 50 grand later this year. I have no clue if that's accurate. I just heard it from someone random, so it's probably not true.
Yeah. So I'm sort of on the fence on like, because I have like just a bunch of different coins. Like my coin portfolio when I bought it all was like, I don't know, I think I invested like $2,000 or $3,000 into it. And I think now it's all worth like, I don't know, something in the realm of like 15 or 20,000 or something like that.
That's
But
sick.
yeah, my whole like sort of point of buying it all was just to hold it for this like this society collapsing reason. Like if society ever does collapse and we do revert to all of these coins and want to switch over to using crypto full time to operate society, then yeah, it is good to be on like the front end of that. But I'm not going to be one of these people, I think, who like invests their entire life savings into fucking owning one Bitcoin or something like that.
Singular Bitcoin, and then like a year later, it's worth a cent again, and then you have no money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so volatile. I don't understand like why it goes up and down in price so much. It's like nothing else in this world goes up and down in price like that.
It's I think money in general is a very weird is weird, but also it's something that just occurs in like naturally within just like societies, like because people like trade stuff or like exchange things, and eventually like people want stuff like in return for what they give out. So then currency just naturally evolves. But like
Wait,
you
so you
also,
think we shouldn't have a system to trade with for goods and services?
no, I'm just saying that it's like naturally entwined in society, but also it's very weird. Like money at this point seems like not a real thing with everything that's happening, but also it is, and
Why,
also it has to exist kind of
why does it not seem like a real thing?
because everything that a lot of the stuff like just stuff going up and down all the time, like cryptocurrencies, like where does crypto's currency value come from? Why does this piece of paper have value?
Yeah, well, that's the thing with crypto is like its value just comes from what everybody agrees that it's worth who's trading it, right?
Yeah, because so like the money comes from just like the general consensus of, hey, this thing is now worth this much that we just kind of made up so that we can trade things.
Right.
Just like that is like just made up by people, but
Mhm.
also because we all agreed to it and like agreed that it has value, it has value. But also we just kind of made it up, but it has value. It's weird. What is weird?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose fiat in that sense is similar, but it's just way more stable. It seems like, and the reason why it's stable is because of inflation. I guess like we're able to just keep printing more money. So the thing with Bitcoin and the reason I think why it increases in value so much is because there's a finite amount of it. There's like 21 million Bitcoin in circulation, or there will be only over 21 million Bitcoin in circulation. Whereas, something like fiat, it's like there's an infinite amount in circulation, really, because we just keep printing more. So that's why it always stays down at the value it's at. Whereas, like, if you imagine with fiat, like the US dollar, if we just never printed any more US dollars from like, I don't know, 1950 onwards, like imagine how much a US dollar would be worth to
Yeah,
somebody right now to be.
that would be crazy.
So I think in that sense, like that's probably why Bitcoin has gone up in so much. But I also think that it's like, I don't know, pretty damn overpriced. But I mean, like you said, if everybody agrees that it's worth X, then it's worth X.
Yeah. Have you you've surely seen like the Bill Wirtz history of the entire like universe, right?
Yep.
I rewatched that again yesterday and was like watching. Oh no, I went into a Bill Wirtz binge because I just like Bill Wirtz a lot,
Yeah,
and
he's great.
I'm watching like the him describe the societies like evolving with like going straight from like kind of cavemen people like farming and then farming straight into like having currencies and stuff. It was like a this conversation just made me think of that. Because like it started out with just people making food, and then once someone started like making more food than other people wanted like that person's food, and like that person kind of became the important person. So people just kind of lived near them, and that they just traded to get stuff, and then like just from someone like farming, out of that like spewed like societal hierarchy, and so that it just that part of the video just made me think of like how like hierarchy and like currency kind of just like it naturally just comes out of people existing and interacting. But
Yeah,
also
like
those
do you think that we could have evolved any other way to like deal with any other sort of system?
that's the problem. I can't think of anything like that gets rid of like currency or like hierarchy unless only way is if somehow someone back then, like obviously forever ago, knew that that would happen, and then from like the very start, they're like, okay, do this very, we're gonna use this different system that kind of gets rid of or avoids the problems that are going to occur. But like the people didn't know that because
But how could they do that? Because like think about the guy who has the bigger house who grows all the food. Imagine if everybody was like, no, 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 we're not gonna like go by your system. We're gonna like do our own system or whatever. And he was like, all right, well, fuck you. You don't get my food, and then they just
and
all die.
yeah.
They're like, all right, man, we'll go whatever system you want. Like you got
Like
all the food. So.
there need to be like a time traveler to go back and be like, do this
Be like,
and
don't
like
do it. It's gonna turn
don't
into capitalism. It's not good.
no. This conversation's derailed.
Oh, that's how all the conversations go on this podcast. It's sure
Good.
it always gets down into some bullshit.
I like
Speaking of
bullshit.
which, though, I should probably bail actually because I got to prepare for this doctor's appointment. Yeah, the other day on the Richard Devine podcast, I passed out and cracked my head open. Now I have
Yeah,
staples
I
in my
saw
head,
that.
and
Actually,
yeah,
a friend of mine showed me the video.
yeah,
I was
it's
like,
pretty
damn.
hectic. So yeah, no, I need to talk about my head with a doctor.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Hope
but
that
yeah,
goes
man,
well.
I appreciate you coming on and chatting with me for an hour, and
That went fast.
yeah, and yeah, we should work on our tune some more.
Yeah, I have a few questions about it. I just need to get all the plugins to work because I have to like install a bunch of plugins. I've been putting it off. Yeah, thanks for having me. I had fun talking,
Yeah, no
using
worries,
my
man.
mouth and stuff.
Fuck yeah. All right. Peace.
See ya. Gee.